Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brenda Abiola. If you are new here, and if you are new, then I hope you stay, girl, and just go ahead and subscribe, because in this video I'm about to be getting so just like up close, personal, real vulnerable, and it's early on in this channel, but
you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
we're getting vulnerable because in this video I'm going to be kind of taking you guys through just a list of things that have completely transformed my life. So if you're someone who struggles with depression, anxiety, deep insecurities, and you just kind of feel like you're always drowning, then this video is for you. And I'm getting nervous just thinking about the conversation we're about to have. So just get comfortable, and I'm just gonna get right into it. And these tips, I'm gonna be giving it to you guys in order from like how I implemented them, and you'll kind of see why as I go on. So let's just get into it. So the very first thing that I have done that has completely transformed my life has been prioritizing my health and fitness. So this means moving my body, whether that's in the gym or going for a walk, and eating the foods that make me feel good and fuel me and are nutritious, rather than the foods that make me feel like crap and that aid in the way that I feel about myself. Because as someone who has struggled with their weight their entire life, as someone who has struggled with insecurities and shame, deep shame and self-hatred over the way that I have looked, over my weight, the decision to take care of my body was the very first step that I had to take to help me start building some self-love, to help me stop feeling so ashamed of my body. Because you guys, when I say, like, I feel like people hear this and they don't really let it like sit with them. I hated the way that I looked. I hated my body. It is hard for me to look at, oh wow, I want to cry. It is hard for me to look at photos of myself in middle school, in high school, in college, because I was so insecure and I was so unhappy and miserable in my body. So the decision to take control of my health and move my body, force myself to go to the gym, force myself to put down the candy, because y'all, I got the nastiest sweet tooth, and I struggle terribly with binge eating. And that's not easy to conquer, but that decision that I made to prioritize my health and to stop making excuses, and it's hard to say making excuses makes it sound lightly, because to make a lifestyle change that big is hard. But I made the decision to love myself. I said, I have to love myself because I can't live like this no more. So that changed my life. It did. Through diet and exercise, I have lost over 65 pounds, and I have completely transformed my life. And I'll pop a picture somewhere, okay? On either side of me, it's gonna be somewhere. But I'll put a picture up so that you can see, because me at 220 something pounds, for one, I was getting treated completely different than how I got treated when I lost that weight. So, and I'm not saying lose weight, be skinny, achieve these certain goals and reach this number on the scale and you'll be happier. That's not what I'm saying, because taking care of my body, it changed my physical self, and sure, I gained some confidence from that, and I didn't hate myself. Honestly, I was very proud of myself, and I'm not 100% happy with my body, but I'm proud of myself. That being said, taking care of my health, moving my body, working out, that didn't make me all of a sudden just love myself. I mean, I have struggled my whole life with self-hate and insecurities. That's not going to change just because your outer appearance changed. It's not. If anything, letting go of that insecurity about my weight only highlighted the fact that I had no idea who I was outside of my insecurities. I had no idea how broken I was until I stopped having that kind of like cloud of insecurities. So that kind of takes me into the next thing that I did that completely transformed my life, which was developing a solid morning routine. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am someone who has struggled deeply with depression, deeply with anxiety, and just like insecurities. I was bullied a lot when I was younger. You know, I was big, I was African, I am dark skinned, like, you know, I was just bullied. And that really screwed with me mentally. And all the weight in the world isn't going to change years and years of negative self-talk and these like self-limiting beliefs I started to have about myself. Those are strongholds. So for me, when I developed the morning routine, that was the only thing that transformed my life. Because in my morning routine, I was journaling. I was reading my Bible every day. I'm saying I still do this till this day, every single day. I wake up at 4 a.m. Not because you have to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm just a 4 a.m.er. But I wake up at 4 a.m. and the very first thing I do is I journal. If I don't journal first, sometimes I read my Bible first. But I prefer, I don't know, it depends on how I'm feeling when I wake up. I usually journal first, but if I read my Bible first, my journaling usually kind of becomes more like, oh, thank you, God, and kind of like a praise or like a thank you letter to God. Versus when I journal first, I usually find that I just am doing like a stream of consciousness type of journaling. So I'm just getting out exactly how I feel. I'm getting out feelings that I didn't even realize were there. I'm figuring out, oh, this is what I'm thinking about first thing in the morning. And journaling really just helped me identify a lot of the feelings I didn't know I was having. It helped me put a name to those feelings, which I thought, and I do think still, is extremely helpful. So journaling paired with prioritizing my relationship with God together completely transformed my life. Completely. When all things are out of my control, I don't want to get too much into it just because I feel like I can talk a whole hour about my relationship with God, and I'm still not even completely there yet. I've always been Christian. I grew up in the church, but I was Christian. I didn't really care. But when I decided to start actually reading my Bible and start being intentional with praying, I started noticing that I had a certain peace in my life that wasn't there before. I started noticing that I wasn't as anxious in certain situations. I wasn't as sad in certain situations. And I just had an overwhelming sense of peace, which I hadn't experienced before because, again, I struggled deeply with anxiety. And I know that journaling and reading my Bible and just having that morning routine, because within my morning routine, I go to the gym. So I journal, read my Bible, go to the gym. That's my morning routine. But I noticed that when I had fallen off and I stopped doing that in my morning routine, I was anxious. I was having mood swings. That depression was creeping back in. And it wasn't fun, y'all. It wasn't fun. I'm telling you, get grounded. Even if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in, whether that's just the universe or I don't know, whatever it is that you believe in, get grounded, journal, prioritize your mental health. Do not rely on physical glow ups to transform your mental health because they cannot change who you are on the inside. Because even through journaling, I realized I had things that I needed to work on. I had things that I needed to take accountability for. I had to pray and I had to ask God to show me my blind spots, to show me the things that I'm not seeing that I'm doing to other people, or the things that I'm not seeing that is holding me back. And that, with journaling, y'all, it showed me some things. Which brings me to my third biggest tip that has completely transformed my life. This one's really difficult for me to talk about because I'm still kind of going through this and I'm still kind of healing through this. But like I was saying, I started to journal and pray and realize that there was a lot of things that I was holding on to that was just hurting me as a person, hurting and hindering my growth. And I had to learn how to let go. So my third tip, or the third thing that has completely transformed my life, has been letting go. And I mean letting go of people, circumstances, which can be your job. Maybe it's a relationship that you're in. Maybe it's where you're living at. You have to learn how to let go. You have to let it go. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to focus on letting go of people because that's what has been my biggest struggle, and that is what has made the biggest impact in my life. And before I even get into it, quick disclaimer, I 100% have an anxious attachment style, so bear that in mind, okay? But I realized that because I was so insecure, because I was so self-conscious, because I was so afraid of speaking up, oh, if I say something, if I tell this person that they hurt my feelings, they're gonna be girl, you're too sensitive. Or they're just gonna be you're too much trouble, I don't wanna be friends with you, or something like that. I was so terrified of speaking up for myself. So in some friendships, it's I just put up with a lot. I tolerated a lot. And it's also not fair to the other person, because I wouldn't say anything until I reached a breaking point. That's not fair to the other person. It makes you resent them. I do not recommend doing that. But those were habits that I begun seeing through that journaling that I was doing. And through that, I also realized that once I did start speaking up and putting boundaries in place, there were some people who were not comfortable with that. There were some people that, because I was so dormant for so many years, when I started putting up boundaries, it was like, hold up, girl, you need to relax. You know, some people didn't feel comfortable with that. Some people are more comfortable with your insecurities and your, you know, lack of confidence and your depression, because they can control you. They can treat you however, they can speak to you however, because they know you're not going to go nowhere. They know you're going to tolerate it. And I have had to let someone go because of that. Because when you're growing and when you're kind of like glowing up and building this new confidence and learning what your boundaries are, learning, you know, what your values are, learning how to speak up for them, people are not going to be comfortable with that. And that's just facts. And it's unfortunate, but that has nothing to do with you. And you're going to have to learn how to let those people go, because if you're staying around in these situations that do not make you feel good, you're not going to feel good. Do not gaslight yourself to thinking that you're the problem. Do not gaslight yourself to thinking, oh, you're too insecure, you're too depressed. Because listen, two things can be true. Maybe you are. But if this person is triggering that, then that deserves to be investigated. You can take a step back. You can have a conversation with your friend, of course. Do not ghost. Don't ghost nobody. Have a conversation with your partner or whoever this person that you were in relation with that you are no longer comfortable with. Have that conversation, but make sure at the end of the day you are prioritizing your feelings. Don't let them tell you anything else. Do not let them tell you you're being sensitive. Because even if I am, if you are my friend, if you are my man, if you're my sister, brother, whoever, then you should be aware of that and you should care. So don't let anyone tell you that you're tripping. Learn how to walk away. And it's not easy, y'all. It is not easy. I have literally, I don't want to cry. 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 Hold on. I have literally had to let go of a friendship that I've had for over a decade, since high school, because I felt and truly believe that that friend did not value me. And it is not easy to leave a friendship that long. You know, it's not easy, but when you start being anxious around people, when you feel like you can't talk to people about certain things, when you feel like people don't really care about you or they only want to be around you, and when you feel anything funny, trust your gut, because it's going to be hard. You're going to be heartbroken. Like, losing that friendship absolutely shattered me. But guess what? I no longer am anxious around people. I no longer am around anyone who makes me question myself. I'm no longer around anyone who I feel like is not a cheerleader for me in the same way that I am for them. All the relationships that I have in my life right now, I 100% can say with all certainty that the reciprocity is there. You're here for me the same way that I'm there for you. And that is important in your relationships. That's important in your friendships. That's important in every situation. You make sure that you are being served and you are being fed the same way I hope you're feeding other people. But yeah, letting go of people has completely changed my life. I don't feel so caught up or nervous or anxious about the people that I'm around. I feel a lot more comfortable in my little bubble, because that's what your life is. Your life is your little bubble. And there's no one that I'm around that I'm side-eyeing or that makes me question myself. And that is important. And I'm not saying it has to be all the other person or all you, but just take the time to go within, take a break from people, and figure out what it is that makes you feel uneasy. Because you don't want to go through life with people who make you feel uneasy, because then you're just going through life uneasy. That's not fun. So learn how to let go. Let go of friendships, let go of relationships, let go of the jobs that do not serve you and do not make you feel good. Yes, you're going to have to lean into that fear, but you have to step out into uncertainty to get to where you want to go sometimes. And that's just the truth. But moving on, because y'all can talk about this forever, like I said. So after letting go of people who don't make me feel good, letting go of situations that don't make me feel good, I've had a lot of free time. I have had a lot of free time because I'd be bored with no friends. But after letting those people go, I've had more free time. And like I said, after losing weight, after healing and just going through this huge metamorphosis of who I am as a person, and also seeing life through a lens of like not being depressed, that is amazing. It is amazing to not want to off yourself. It is amazing to feel like life is worth living. But because I had to let go of some people, I've had more free time. And in that free time, I've had the chance to discover who I am, to figure out what hobbies I like to do, figure out what games I like, or do I like games? You know, I've started reading. I love fantasy. Who knew I would have loved fantasy? I've started playing with makeup, which again, I was always insecure. I never wanted to wear makeup. Like I was embarrassed and I didn't want you to look at me. But now I'm like, well, makeup's cute. I feel feminine and girly when I wear makeup. And it's just fun to play with, which by the way, if you have any tips for my makeup, please leave them in the comments because I'm still learning. I can't even put on a lash. Don't judge me. We're gonna get there one day. But you know, I've learned that I really enjoy makeup. I've learned that I love reading in general. It brings me so much joy. I love escapism. I love fragrances. I've started buying lots of perfumes, which is an expensive hobby. I am just enjoying learning these things about myself. Like, I don't know. I love having hobbies, guys. I love anything creative. I love helping and inspiring people. And it's just really good and grounding to get to know yourself and to figure out the things that make you happy, because then when those days come where you're feeling low, you're feeling sad, you have these interests and hobbies to lean into. And with these interests and hobbies comes community. Like I'd be on book talk, or I've made so many friends, or I've gotten closer to people that I know that I didn't know at the time read books or read fantasy, and I'm posting about fantasy on my story and they're like, girl, I love that book. And I'm like, what? And I'm building community through all these different avenues just from having interest. And that's feeding me and it makes me feel good. And I guess what I'm saying is learning the things that you love to do and then doing them, having interest in hobbies, it is healing. When you find hobbies and things that kind of bring you into that inner child type of joy, it is healing. And that will absolutely transform your life. But the last thing that I have been doing that has completely turned my world around has been forcing myself to do the things that I do not want to do. So this means working out when I don't feel like it, journaling when I don't feel like it, reading my Bible when I don't feel like it. I do not always want to go to the gym. I do not always want to eat healthy. I do not always want to hang out with people. I'm a huge introvert. I can lay, and I'm lazy. I can lay in my bed all day long. But if I only ever do the things that I want to do, I will never move forward in my life. So much of life is so outside of our control. So it's like when you're able to take action and do and execute and just take control of the things you can control, your life will transform. Your dreams become that much closer to becoming a reality. Take it from me. When you stop listening to your feelings and letting your feelings dictate your decisions and what you do in your life, that is when your life will change. That is when your life will look like that dream version of yourself that you've envisioned, that's on your vision board, that's on your 2024 goal list. Learn how to say no. Learn how to get up and learn how to execute even when you do not feel like it. You will not regret it. You will learn how to trust yourself. You'll learn how to have more confidence in yourself, and you will just move forward and stop feeling like you're drowning. Anyway, all these things I have listed are things that have just been pouring into me, and I'm so grateful. And while, yes, I still feel like I'm gonna fall sometimes, and sometimes I do fall. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to crumble. But for the first time in my life, I no longer feel like I'm drowning every single day. I know my worth. I know my dreams can become a reality. And I know that if you apply even just one of these tips that I've listed and shared with you guys today, that your life can change too. At least that's my hope for you. But that is it for today's video, guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. I am still getting my life together and getting used to the whole YouTube concept. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy sharing the things that have transformed my life, and I can only hope and pray that this resonates with someone. And if it has, please leave a comment. Tell me, what do you relate to? If you have tips to give other people about things that they can do to make themselves feel a little better and to make themselves glow or laugh a little harder, please leave them in the comments, because y'all, life is hard. Life is hard and it can suck sometimes. And it's nice to feel like you're not alone. And I know that for so long of my life, I have felt alone. And that's why I kind of created my page, because I was like, we don't deserve to all feel alone. Not when I know I'm not the only person in this world feeling like this. So, I don't know. Take that as you will. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.